A few weeks ago I propagated some grape cuttings and here's what they look like today. I started a couple in baggies, some in water, and then I took several more cuttings and then just popped them into a pot. So I'm gonna start off with the ones in the baggie method. These did okay. There's some growth coming out here. I think that's just from the mix itself. It's not the actual grapevines. And if I empty them out, I don't think there's gonna be really any roots, or at least none that I can see right now. Yeah. These were kind of a flop, as you can see right here. Or they might just need a little bit more time because it looks like some of these buds are starting to swell. But in the last few weeks, they haven't really pushed out any roots. And I think a huge reason for that was the fact that I didn't close up this baggie. Whenever I started them, I left it open, which meant that it was able to dry out a lot faster. So I was inconsistent with the watering because it would dry out and then I would go in and water it. And it was just too many fluctuations to where I got no roots. So this method might have worked a lot better had I closed them the way I do with my fake cuttings. And the same thing happened with these flame seedless grapevines. Let's see. Let's take them out. Yeah. Oh, it's so windy. Look at this. Absolutely zero roots. I had less hope with the flame seedless just because the cuttings themselves are so thin. My flame seedless weren't as vigorous as my Thompson's green grapevines, but it was still worth the shot. The bagging method was unsuccessful, but I really think that's due to the fact that I didn't have them properly closed up. I left them open and I don't know why I did that. I always close them up, but for some reason it completely slipped my mind. And then we're gonna move on to the ones propagated in water and take a look at those root systems. So I started them off in a red solo cup and then I switched over to these glass jars because I feel like the red solo cups for some reason didn't work out for me. I thought they would work better because they would block out some of the light, therefore there wouldn't be as much algae growth on the cuttings themselves, but for some reason the water just kept getting more murky and I was switching it out a lot more often. Then I switched over to these glass jars, which are really just pickle jars, I think. See, my husband always tells me, you don't need that many jars. Yes, I do. I'm propagating stuff. But anyways, actually, all the cuttings in here have some growth going on. I have 3 Thompson's green grapevines in here and 1 Thompson seedless. Here's the first Thompson's green grapevine. And there's 1 root coming out right here. Now, I will say there is some algae growth. Look at that. It looks really gross. So I need to switch out the water again, but it's so cool to see some growth on there. Oh, let's see this one. This one doesn't have any roots, but it does have some growth. This is also, no, actually, this is a flame seedless. So I have 2 flame seedless, 2 Thompson's green grapevines. You can see some cool leaves pushing out, but what we're really looking for are roots, which I don't see on this one yet. Next is this flame seedless grape. And as you can see, there is some green growth, but again, no roots yet. And then this is the last Thompson's green grapevine. And look at all of those roots, you guys. Isn't that insane? I think that is so cool. Not only does it have a ton of growth coming out over here, and it also looks like it's trying to fruit, but it has all these awesome roots going on. And some more that look like they're starting to peek out. So I think the larger cuttings work better for this experiment. And I was really pleasantly surprised to see the water working more effectively than the baggie method. And then we have this pot. So not all of this green growth is part of the grapevines. A lot of this is just melon seeds that were inside of my compost. So I'm actually going to try and dump this out. I don't want to cut the pot open because I can still use it for something else. Okay, it's coming out. Oh my gosh, you guys. Holy. No, okay, some of these roots have to belong to the melons. But look at this. Oh my gosh. Okay, hold on. I did not expect this one to have such awesome roots. You need to take a good look at this. Look at that. Isn't that crazy? Oh my gosh. Hold on. Isn't that crazy? I think maybe having the melons in there really helped out as well to keep some of that moisture in. So now I'm gonna try and take these apart. These root systems are insane. Hold on, I want to make sure I have this in the shot. I ran inside and grabbed some of these pots so I can transplant them as I'm taking them apart. Okay, let's do this. I don't want to break up any of those roots though. So with this, what's really cool about this propagation is I didn't water this nearly as often as I did everything else in my grow tent. I kind of just let them do their own things. Oh, I don't know if I can go ahead and separate them without disturbing roots. Okay, like here's one. This one doesn't have any roots on it. So it's not all of them that were successful. It's just a couple. Oh. Okay. Oh, look, here's some good ones. So this grapevine has some leaves starting to come out. And if we look closer, there's also some roots that you can see in there. Can you guys see that? They're barely starting to peek through. And then look at this one. You have all those beautiful roots right there. And even though it might not seem like a whole lot of roots compared to the fig cuttings, those roots are enough to get these to take, because when I bought some of my plants, they didn't have a huge root ball and they took off within less than a year. Look at these. Isn't that crazy? And I wasn't even going to propagate these. I did it just because I had a bunch of cuttings and I wanted to see if it would work. Just popping them in a pot, and they look beautiful. And maybe what really helped these take off as well is the fact that they had nutrients in the soil. I mean, that's just a theory though. Who knows? Maybe just everything really aligned. Plus, if you look at the ones that took versus the ones that didn't, it's kind of half and half. Look at those roots. Even though this one doesn't have any leaves, all those roots are a really good sign, and that's the main thing you want to look for. All of these are Thompson's green grapevines. This one looks like it has roots. Oh no, it doesn't. Those are the melons. Oh my gosh, you guys. Oh my gosh. Look at that. This one too, look at those roots. Another one. I mean, this soil was really good too. It had worm castings in there, so I understand why they grew so well. So this one has all these roots right here. And then this cutting right here has all these roots down here, which are intertwined with the melon roots as well, but that's still really cool. Look at that. You can see the roots a lot more. Wow, look at that, you guys. That's crazy. In this pot, I had 8 successful grape cuttings that made it. Ooh. And about 11 of them that didn't make it. So next, what I'm gonna do is fill these little pots up with mix. That way I can replant those grape cuttings. Okay, let's go ahead and take these beautiful roots and pop them in there. Finish filling it up. There's one. When I water them in right now, I'm gonna give them a little bit of fish fertilizer just to really help them settle in. Because they were grown in potting mix versus an inert medium, they're able to take off and there won't be too much of a transplant shock. I have all my grapevines right here right next to my fig cuttings, and I'm gonna go ahead and water them in with a little bit of fish fertilizer just to get them to settle in, because I did disturb their roots as I was taking them apart. But look how beautiful they are. In total, we got 10 cuttings that took. I also added in some of the ones that were the water propagations, but I think they look beautiful, and all of them are the Thompson's green seedless grapevines. None of my flame ones took. This year, I'm probably only going to propagate flame seedless if I do wind up propagating some, but overall they look great. So I have a little bit of fish fertilizer in here. Let me add some water. That's the update for now. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye guys.